Well, I don't know what happened, but Twitch just said no. Yeah, the broadcast just stopped for basically no reason. So great, that's gonna fuck up the video. Um. Wait. Oh. Wait. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh no, they're all dead. Wow. Yeah, I lagged in the middle of that fight. Oh boy. Whoa. Man, if they do this. Well, one of them's a warrior, so they can heal for days. Wow. I mean, if Phoenix Down wasn't an out of combat thing, oh, I thought he fell off. I'm like, no! I don't think normal has a rage mechanic, does it? I think it just keeps on going until... Oh, well, Clemency! Or did he home gang? Fucking home ganged and just... Spark of life, oh no. Ah, the paladin gave up. Oh. Yeah, I lagged for like no reason. My computer, like, not my computer, but like, my game just decided to just go derp. My stream stopped. Everything. Based warrior. You don't give two fucks. He's just like, I don't care. About to chop this tree down. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Stem the tide! Well, it's just gonna give him... It just gives him a thicker booty. It doesn't do anything. It's not gonna... Now, if he gets targeted for an AoE, then he could probably do LB3. Like right here. But it looks like he could just pop his stem the tide, yeah. Gives him so much fucking armor, it's crazy. I can't believe this. Based warrior. I can't even see what the percentage is. Good lord. This is where you pop the LB. Oh my god. Oh, he left. Oh well. I have no idea why everything just went shit. The moment Agdis was slain, the flow of Aether and Pandemonium focused keenly on this location, creating a tunnel of sorts which he could quickly convey. We quickly convey ourselves. It was almost as if we were ushered here. This space was created with care and concealed with powerful wards. Only a keyword would have been able to detect it, and even and then then with great difficulty. Ergo. Oh, hello, ghost. If only I could restore Tataru to order. But I am afraid this is the most I can manage with such power that remains to me. It has been too long, Master Lahabrea. Likewise, keyword Agditus. I should not be surprised that you were able to break free of Hesperios' spells, even diminished as you were. It was not an easy task, even with your aid. His curse digs into one's heart, creating a storm of emotions, and that is all too easy to become lost in. Only by chance did a fragment of myself remain, illuminating a path through the madness. And thus I am able to appear before you now, even while my body was powerless to resist Hesperios' command. Some small part of my logical mind stood alone in defiance. It even managed to speak to the outside world. Oh, that was you. Oh, the report. That was you. Doubtless you recognized my voice from the many times I have called out to you. The hope that those pleas would not fall onto deaf ears. Hers was all that kept me from succumbing to hopelessness. Oh, I thought that was Athena, but it was you. But I have a greater purpose here than simply saying my farewells. There is something you must know. That the tragedies of the past do not repeat in the present. Forgive me for what I am about to do, Master Lahabrea, but the story must be told. 'Tis the only way you understand Hesperios' fixation on Richthonios. No longer can you hide your heart away. Hephaestus. No, the mask marks him as La Habrea. Master La Habrea had brought an end to Lady Athena's life and sealed away a part of his memories and emotions within Hephaestus. These are my recollections of the moments following. And you truly have no intention of revealing the truth to Rich Thonius. My lesser half is now buried, or none can find it. We would be wise to do the same with our memory of this day. Blood should not sway the spirit so, but Athena's teachings have warped the body, have warped the boy. I fear he would see our star burn to keep his mother safe. Richthonios believes that he feels love, but he is shackled by dependence. He could not bear the truth. His dependence makes it all the more important to be open with him. He will seek answers about his mother's loss, which shall inevitably lead him to you. You're willing to accept the blame for Athena's death? Are you willing to accept your son's hatred? If that's what comes to pass, then so be it. Better to be burdened with hatred than the knowledge of Athena. That Athena thought his body and soul mere tools to be used and discarded. And were I to tell him what his mother plotted, he would ever seek reasons to believe the true fault lies with me or with him. Should he merely hate me, he will remain unfettered by doubt, free to serve the star far from his parent shadows. Huh? Athena was evil? Or something like that? Ursonius loved his mother more than life itself, and yet, what a dreadful truth you've borne all this time. Such is La Habrea's nature. Every action, every word, a solution to life's great dilemmas, and none to spare for his own. What I have revealed to you is no small portion of a larger picture. I shall leave it to La Habrea to paint the rest for you, and for Richthonios, I hope. Thank you, Agnes. I always admired you, you know. What choice did I have when you sacrificed so much to guide our star to the heavens? He doubtless sensed that his final keyword has fallen, and we should return to the surface before he moves to strike us here. If we are to face him, we must be prepared to bring our full strength to bear. Ugh. Agnes was ever a bold woman, even in her final moments. If she would unearth the secret of my past for all to look upon. Still, full glad that I am, and that she faced you as as her last opponent. I could think of none more worthy to send her soul off to the other side. We'll just go through it. This should be the last one. One final wish. La Brea would speak further of Athena's fate. The vision you saw told the story of him more eloquently than I ever could. Athena was consumed by her research and was willing to sacrifice her own child if it hastened her progress. She did not offer him a position here out of the sense of love or pride. 'Twas merely because she knew he would be a more palatable test subject. I see now why he hid the truth from him. I cannot say for certain that Richthonios could handle the weight of such betrayal after holding his mother on a pedestal for so long. Unfortunately, it seems not even her death has ensured his safety. Hephaestus has taken up Athena's research and succeeded in creating hemithal. I know not what his ultimate end is, but it's plain that it's connected with the resurrection of Athena. That knowledge alone is sufficient to direct our next course of action. As for the rest of your story, we would hear it after we have returned Aristonios to safety, in accordance with Agnes's last wish. Very well. I can at least assure you that finding him shall prove relatively simple now that Hephaestus can no longer bend pandemonium to his will. There is but one place left for him to find refuge, the Black Heart of Tartarus, where Athena built the testing compound. I can assume that Hephaestus will offer fierce resistance. I must focus my every effort on securing a safe means of approach. I would ask that you assume the duty of summoning Dragoon's Phantom Warriors. I have no objections. My ability to fight within Tartarus would be greatly diminished in any case. However, I wish to deal the final blow to Hephaestus myself. There is no need to dirty your hands with such a deed. I take it then that you have no intent to seal him away as before? The presence I felt when I encountered Hephaestus bore little resemblance to the entity I created. By his own hand, he has become something far more wicked. And the same magics that used to shackle him may very well shatter before the power he wields. On my pride as a researcher, I am loath to repeat the same mistake twice. I would not see these events play out again, and so he must be extinguished. Alright. So in my understanding, Hephaestus and La Brea are the same person. He just put memories into him as, like, he's basically a simulacra that he put memories into, but he got out, he learned new magics, and now he's more powerful than whatever, but he could take La Brea's appearance, and that's why people thought he was La Brea. But the real one's just like, no, it's not it. But then Athena is probably evil because she actually works with resurrection magics, and that's why she had to die or some shit like that. I don't know. Oh, whatever. I'll open the way forward. Let's finish this together. Alright. Cool. As it should be. In is inside. Return to me safe. Return to me safely, friend. If that's what this really means to continue Athena's research, then your return is indispensable for his goals. He is safe. Dude, it's a patch. Every patch. And the 8th circle. Alright, 8th circle. So now I gotta do 2 videos for this one. Wow.
Ericthonios is mine, heart and soul. And with your death, none will be left to stop me.
Wow. He has a very deep voice. He got the deep voice. Oh, God. Perfect imperfection. Ooh, it's red.
Rest eternal in the dark depths of this prison.
Gloss of flame.
From fulgent flame my servants rise.
Oh.
Out of my sight. Leave naught but ash in your way.
Oh.
Let sink sorrow into your heart.
Uh-oh.
I'm tired of this farce. Behold the fruits of sacrifice.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ew! Hello?
You will know my rage.
Oh. Wait. Oh? Oh? rearing rampage. Oh. Jesus Christ.
Perish in flames and race. Go forth and shake your mouth.
Hello? Dragon. Ah.
All to claim my servant's rights. Let deep sorrow into your heart. I shall see my wish fulfilled.
He talks a lot. Hello?
You are prey to be consumed. Sheer flesh from bone.
Hello? All right.
Not with ash in your way. I'm tired of this farce.
Ah.
Behold the fruits of sacrifice. You will know my rage.
All right. Oh, ow.
Who praying before a god? Perish in flames and race. Go forth and sate your boundless hunger.
This one I kind of like. and mixed it up. Hey, hey.
Claim my servant's rights.
And then it has dragons, so get out of the middle.
Making death. Shall see my wish fulfilled. You are prey to be consumed.
Oh god. All right. The chain of events that led to this moment began with my error. When out of mercy I confined you here, now I break it, and I leave no trace of you behind. This is not over. Firewall. So you will not go peacefully. Oh. Well, it's not another fight. Even a cast-off would uphold his pride. Though such an impulse must speak to an overwhelming arrogance of my other half. The name Hesphaestos shall grow to eclipse yours. None shall remember the deeds of La Habrea once I fulfill Athena's ambition and bring Rich dream to life. You speak as if you care of wit for the boy. Why then do you cower behind him? There are some desires which must not be realized. Athena would see the world destroyed if it meant that she could find hers in the ruins. As for Ristanios, he knows not what his wish would beget, a truth which you have hidden from him. Do you truly believe a father's role is to deceive and manipulate? My wish? You would claim the name Hesphaestos and call yourself his father, yet you bind his mind, body, and Mind and body in dark change, your words and your pride ring hollow. Athena wanted her son by her side, and he desires to return there. What wickedness is there in mending a broken family? Athena cared not for rich Thanios, beyond how he could serve her ends. You claim to be acting in his interest, but 'tis plain that you are no different. As I ushered Athena to her end, I vowed that my sole mission in life would be to guide this star true. In service to that vow, I silenced the whispers of my heart. I could not nurture a son whilst an entire world looked to me for guidance. For that choice, I bear the responsibility. Yet he is still my son, and I'll not suffer you to seduce him with false hope. You, who are not but a bitter dregs of Athena and I, the very worst of us. Mother, she... No. Then who? How do I... Hearken to your heart, come back to us. Hearken to your heart! I hear you. I owe you and Themis an apology. Athena, did you ever... And La Habrea, I will have my say! Boom! How? His mind was mine! I can't explain. A dragoon's words reached me through the haze. They rang out loud and clear. As did the words of another, in a voice much like yours, but resounding with truth. Uh-oh. How? When did you master these bonds? We've interred much worse. You worth this, you! Ah! Ooh. Ooh, that's the crystal. It appears my failures have borne fruit after all. That's where that screenshot comes from. I'll just put that in my pocket. You did well, son. Huh? What? Did you just... What the fuck? Where are we? With Astrasios' essence contained in this crystal, we may safely return to return him Rithanios above. That he would bind Hespesios with only half his senses intact. You quite understand his adaptiveness to the art of internment. It was hardly what I had in mind, but a feat deserving of praise nonetheless. Wait. Oh. I did direct hit, right? I'm just going back. Yeah. Truth and perfect. Wow. Wow! I feel no trace of asbestos poison in your mind, and for a blessing, it appears your body is none the worse for wear. A little bit came running with us. I made my way here as soon as I could. I could no longer sense asbestos, as the force assailing the Pandemonium's barriers have ceased. Are we rid of him good and all? I see. Despite his bodily senses, Ristonios felt that the seal Hespasios away with the proper course was the proper course. It wasn't so noble as that. I only knew something had to be done, so I acted. Brea, was that how you dealt with Hespasios in the past? Indeed, he was not but the parts of my memory and soul that I had cut away. A mass of aether without a material vessel. Storing his essence within a crystal was the most logical choice. On that matter, I believe the time has come for you to share with the rest of your tale of Hesphaestos' creation and Athena's end. I heard your words, but only vaguely, as if from under the surface of a deep pool. My mother wished to use me? I would hear the whole truth. I want to know what happened here, and what drove Athena to act as she did. I'm ready. I feel like this part got, convoluted, because they were acting before they explained anything. Athena's brilliance outshone us all. Even the other members of the Words of La Habrea were as children in comparison. She dedicated herself. She was so dedicated to research that it was not unheard of for her to forget meals or even sleep. Her mind was ever grasping for knowledge, and it was to this endless search that she began obsessed with uncovering the secrets of life. You see, while she was convinced that life in its various forms, the meanings of creating a soul are beyond our ken. This kind of parallels with what's happening in the main story, I guess. Because she was trying to master life and death, and there's no death in the darkness. Right. Similarly, though, we can enhance and alter our physical vessels. We have ever been bound to them. Athena's purpose was to shatter these limitations. Just limitations as we were not meant to surpass. She sought to enter the realm of the gods. Scarce few have the ability to comprehend of what such a task entails, let alone the courage to attempt it. For most, the thought would be an idle fantasy, considered once and then discarded. Not so for Athena. As leader of the Words of La Habrea, I spoke with her often about transcending or being. From an academic perspective, the challenge has plagued countless researchers through the ages. It was during these musings that I began to formulate a theory, a means by which a person could meld with the creation. The weakness of one would be mitigated by the strengths of the other, and the result could be something greater than we have ever imagined. Although it was but a theory, Athena insisted on developing it further. Oh, that's why we're seeing people get fused and stuff. Curious about every detail along the way, our conversations became more frequent, and our platonic relationship grew into something much more. I take it I was born not soon after? Just so. I believe she bore true affection for me, and I was blind to her hidden intentions. When Pandemonium was built, she requested to lead the researchers. I saw no reason to deny her. Even setting aside our relationship, her accomplishments as a scholar made her an obvious choice. However, giving her Pandemonium, I also gave her free rein to conduct whatsoever experiments she could devise. And when you found out what she was doing, you killed her. I made haste to Pandemonium the moment I learned of these hidden chambers. I left Agnes to keep watch on Tartarus's vestibule. As I ventured deeper, knowing not what awaited me. As for what occurred next, 'tis best to see with your own eyes. Is that me? You are well aware that out of the respect of our neighbors in Elpis, the researchers of Pandemonium are not to be masked. Yet you stand here before me with your face covered. What petty defiance is this? What indeed? So quick you are to rebuke me. Though you yourself has not set foot into these halls since their inception. You must have known you could not conceal this from myself and Agnes forever. As well, you know that I cannot allow it to continue. I shall say this but once. Release Ritsthonios. Else I shall have no choice but to strike you down. Oh, he's so tiny. I would meet my end at the hands of none other. However, ere my time is come, I will have you know the why of it. Then you will not desist. Once you understand what has driven me this far, you shall see that stopping me was never an option. The feelings of one weigh little against the needs of the entire star. Of course, of that I am well aware. But you did not. But you didn't design to descend from your lofty height to simply lecture me as you would a child. You have an interest in my motivations. What possessed Athena? Peerless researchers and mother of the son of the great La Habrea to embark upon the path of her downfall? History will demand an answer, but it is you that will but it is you who deserve one. I cannot read the rest of that. Impossible. You bonded your souls? Aye, that the boundaries between us would cease to be. She offered me everything, to be understood. I found myself unable to refuse. At that moment, my mind was a storm of questions. Yet one roared the loudest. Did Athena ever truly love me? I am become thee, memory and mind. And I thee. So Athena... What? Can you feel it? My heart, all that I am. I was going to say, can you feel Sora? Yes, if it were my own. I fathom desire to dissect the mysteries of life, to transcend our mortal flesh, and bleed into the higher plane of existence. An unquenchable thirst for knowledge, and not a single thought spared for another, for the star. How disappointing. Yet what is known cannot be unknown. You have beheld my life's work. Try as you might to excise the memory, the seed of desire remains, and when it takes root, you too shall be consumed by the selfsame fervor. I will dig it out. I will dispense of this corruption in my soul, ere your rotten insight spreads. Now, 'twas my weakness that let that wickedness fester, but never again. Today I cast aside fickle emotion and abide by something. Today I renounce that I was and I live as La Habrea. Oh, the half mark. That's what... Thus did I forsake the part of myself that had been polluted by Athena, sealing it within a crystal. Never did I think that I would one day face those memories made flesh. Forgive my bluntness, but your actions bordered on insanity. To go to such lengths as to escape your memories. You nearly rewrote your very existence. Rest assured, the change did not go unnoticed by our colleagues in the convocation. Igorim and M. Selk in particular made plain the suspicions they harbored. Igorim? Ah. As well they should have. That you escaped with your life was nothing short of a miracle. Why didn't you destroy the crystal then and there? Did you think that one day to make use of the knowledge it contained? I recognize such considerations played into my decision, but my main motivation was fear. I had never attempted such a feat before. The crystal was my sole recourse should something go awry with the remainder of my soul. Oh, in hindsight, to cling to it was a mistake born of doubt. Athena must have anticipated that I would resort to such measures and prepare the vessel beforehand that would accept the dregs of my soul. Phaedos doubtless believed he was performing his duty as a husband and a father should. Yet in turn, he was a puppet being pulled to and fro by Athena's desires. His goal was not to raise himself high. He thought only of seeing his dear Athena live again, and that she might finish what she began. For all that, he and I were alike. We yet shared the fatal flaw, you see. Our need to control blinded us to other perspectives. Well, I was in the thrall of Hephaestus. You called out to me. What say you now? Does La Habrea speak too? What does your heart tell you? I just want to know one thing. Did you truly believe that hiding the truth was best for me, even knowing how I felt about my mother? The La Habrea I knew had a fatal flaw. After all, I'm still not convinced. I've said all that I can. I've said all that I can say. Now, that is for you to choose to believe me or not. The La Habrea I know holds duty above all else. I would sooner prostrate myself before an erupting volcano than place a fickle motion in his path. When you return to the surface, you'll doubtly don the mask once more. So before we climb out of this forsaken pit, I suppose I should say, thank you, Hephaestus. I've heard enough. There is more that I would yet discuss, but we should first return to Pandemonium Gates. I'll gather my thoughts on the way. I owe you an apology, Dragoon. It was due to my own experience that Hephaestus was easily able to hold my mind. I also owe you thanks. If you and Themis had chosen to brave the chaos occurring in Pandemonium, then I would have never known La Habrea's story, my father's story. Twas a tale I too was fascinated to hear. I was much looking forward to speaking with Azim upon my return. I cannot help but wonder how much of this she foresaw. I'm afraid I cannot allow that, Elidibus. So long as you return control of Pandemonium, there is work to be done. As you retain control. But of course, I shall first free the remaining warders and restore this place to its former glory. Use the facilities of Tataros. We should be able to reverse the changes made to their bodies and minds. I shall I shall stay behind to oversee the process. That is well, but I must yet learn why I was considered the key to Hephaestus's experiments and how he intended to revive Athena. Such questions are best left unanswered. Right? In fact, I forbid the pursuit of that knowledge. The boundary between man and creation shall never again be crossed. And I intend to destroy the crystal containing Hephaestus's essence. That this mistake never happens again. Or never again repeats. I see no reason to gainsay your judgment. There is yet the matter of your crystal, however. Truth be told, I had not considered its origin until I saw the one containing Hephaestus' aether. I was struck with how wholly different they were. There is another? While imbuing a crystal with memories is a simple process, storing a message, a warning even, would be something altogether more complex. There's also means that someone besides the present company and Asm was aware of the plot unfolding within Pandemonium. Then why would they make themselves known even now? No threats remain. Perhaps it was one of the other warders. We shall question them after they are freed. That task may take some time. A resource I'd rather not steal more of from you. Return at your leisure, and we will share our results then. You've done more than enough for the time being. I have the same mind. Leave the loose ends to us and continue upon your journey. Or, if you're so inclined, take as much needed repose. This talk of journey smacks of Asm. As well it should. She has pledged to keep moving until she has seen every corner of the world. If you do not find yourself with a spare moment, you might bring that crystal of yours to La Habrea. He may be able to offer further insight. Until then, my friend. All right. So they're just gonna hang out. Hi, Visit Dragoon. Excuse me if I'm not my usual herself, but we have not been without difficulties in your absence. See, communication with the airship Professor Claudine commissioned for a search was lost some time ago, and now we have quite lost track of where he might be. Oh boy. And to make matters worse, an MEG has just sent word of an unusually large amount of energy coming from somewhere within the ethereal sea. I was just on my way to the antiloscope, in fact. Please, you must come with me. Oh god, we're here. What? What is that? Is it real? Why is that whenever danger visits the world, you are never far behind? Oh, fortunate. Well, I did not expect you to be here. And you two, Professor Claudian assistants, I take it? As you've arrived before me, I take it that you are involved in this. I would thank you to furnish me with an explanation. What the fuck is Pandemonium doing here? In the Ethereal Sea? I mean, I guess it got displaced somehow, but... And he's like, "You're time traveling? You stupid!" While the research summary you submitted to the forum gave us no cause of concern, these details are alarming. The professor's last message indicated that he was on his way to Az's Law, but we know not whether he even reached his destination. A rash endeavor, even for Claudian. But he has ever allowed the thrill of discovery to cloud his better judgment. We have no recourse but to entreat Ishgard's aid in the search for him. As for the unsightly fortress which materialized in the Ethereal Sea, Pandemonium was it? It cannot be left alone. For the time being, information regarding this matter must be strictly controlled as to minimize panic. We will gather those with the knowledge of the Ethereal Sea and continue monitoring it for further irregularities. Huh. You two, submit a detailed report to the forum at once. At present, we have far more questions than answers. Nevertheless, I would ask for your assistance at such a time that our investigation has concluded. Very good. Now, if you excuse me, I must appraise the forum of what has occurred here. Well, well, well. Just when we need it most, Professor Claudian remains unaccounted for, and he even brought the crystal. He even brought the crystal with him. We are left with scarce a few straws to grasp at. While I am but a lowly assistant, even I can see that the two current problems are likely related. The same party of phenomenon may be responsible for both. Conversely, I see now that my unexperienced imagination failed to do Pandemonium's pitless spires justice. I can only wonder if the facility itself traversed the ages. Did the creations within do the same? What of the keywords? But answers to this question will come in time, I'm sure. For now, I must do what Master was not asked and write that report. As for you two, Grim, pray get some rest. Get what rest your responsibilities will allow. When next time we call upon you, I wager we shall need you in prime condition. That's it. Jesus. The fire. Oh, yeah, yeah, apparently Vieira can wear this. Jeez, I kind of don't like. I don't like the halo around it. It's just very annoying. How does that look in cutscenes? Okay, that's kind of cool. With the chain. Wait a minute, we got magic. Dang! I will heal you with fire. I like how it goes around the ears. I'm gonna burn my ears. Ow, ow, ow. Although it looks like it curves with them. That's pretty cool. Huh. Well, that was it. So, did I like the raids? Yeah, see, like, people just standing around with, like, these halos. It's like... ugh. Okay, so did I like the raid? I didn't like dying, and I didn't like my stream going down. Let's see, Proto Carbuncle, it was okay. I probably liked that one. The second one was okay too, with like the snakes that attach to you, and then like it would wrest control from you to do a targeted AoE. But it's kind of easy. You just point it away, and then they just don't do anything. So that one had the most fun mechanic. But then I would say it's pretty much the same as last tier. The third and fourth fight, I didn't really like. The tree, meh. It would just pop you up, change the arena. I feel like it had a giant fucking hitbox. I mean, obviously. That's why, because it has that thing, so it needs to have melee be able to hit. Because if a melee goes over to like the farther platform, they couldn't be able to hit. So that's why it was so big. And then the fourth fight, I'd say it was okay. All in all, I just like. And the story is like, I kind of don't care. I'll be honest. It's like, oh, like, and we still don't even like it. Now it's It's shifting towards Athena's, like, I guess thought process onto what she was doing and why she was doing it and why Ristonios is, or Rich, however you want to say his name. Yeah, I need to... So... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, the shift is kind of weird, but it's just like, okay, so, but then they're just like, so now they have to give us a reason to go back in there? Why was my... That's weird, my weapon was the only thing that was taking damage. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They're kind of grasping at like what needs to happen, like the next stage, where it's just like it's not enough that you have to find out Athena's thing, because that's more of what Rich wants to do. He wants to know why he is the most important. He was important to her plan, which will obviously get revealed in the next phase. Oh, Savage? Oh no, Savage doesn't come out yet. That's right. Savage is next week. That's right. The raids are on a week delay. So that way people have enough time to get the story. Which, on that note, having a week delay for Savage, I think is really good, because now people have time to do the story. There's even some people that still haven't done it, you know? So, so now there's really no rush, and you can actually, like, go back and do this story, but I don't think the story's even that good. It's like, yeah, it's La Brea, and he separated this part of his memories, and his memories ran wild, and now he's trying to correct it. But he's such, I don't know, he's an unlikable character to me. Like he's like, I am your father, and blah blah blah. So it's just like, he just doesn't know how to be a good father. But it's just like, I don't know how ancients had to be like family members or some shit like that, you know? But apparently, you know, La Brea is just like not the best one. He just wants to destroy Pandemonium. It only got interesting at the end when you find out that, like, oh, he killed Athena because Athena was going nuts and he was going to kill his son. He couldn't let that happen. And then, you know, now Fortunaut's involved, because in the Intelescope, we go down there and there's fucking Pandemonium just sitting in the fucking Ethereal Sea for almost no reason, because we're just at the end of the quest line and we're just not given an explanation. So now we have to wait 4 months to figure out why the hell it's even there. Plus, we brought up how a crystal told us, like, about Pandemonium, but but they were just like, yeah, like, because it feels like we ended a quest line, but it's not really the end, because there's just lingering questions. That's all it is. It's just lingering questions. And we're not going to know about this till 6.4. So, yeah, if I had to give the raids a rating out of 5, I'd say I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Most of the fights are okay. There was one or two of them were just kind of trash. Like, the tree boss, I think, is trash. I didn't like it. Not that I died and got disconnected from it, but like, I just don't. it didn't feel like, I don't know, it didn't feel right. I like this, like, going in there busting up creatures. Like, I like the Asphodelos. I kind of like Asphodelos how it flowed a little bit more, but now this one kind of shook everything up. Not that the fights were tough or anything, but yeah, seeing that's at 5 o'clock right now, I think that'll do it for day 2 of the Streamathon. Birthday Streamathon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. You can follow the stream. I should have a stream link on my channel somewhere. If I don't, that's my fault. But yeah, I'm gonna go take a break because these long-hour streams are kind of killing me. Not literally. I'm making sure I'm eating and taking in, like, I take snacks because, you know, I take the lunch break. So I have food and I've been eating, probably not drinking as much. So that's my fault. But we're good. Tomorrow, I think we're all just greenlit for Eureka content. Gotta do Eureka. Or get that started. And I'm gonna start it. Now, of course, I'm not gonna finish it all in one day, because it's meant to be just a grind fest or whatnot, but there's that. So now I gotta get these 2 videos exported, so once again, thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow for more Final Fantasy XIV. Thank you so much.